Hello, I am Quinny. Welcome to the channel, guys. In this video today, we have got a super exciting episode to go through. Soraredata have enhanced, upgraded, and refined their manager statistics tab on their page. And I've not done a video on the channel like reviewing my own club, reviewing my own gallery for most of this year. I've been so focused on, content to bring you guys, up and coming players, wonder kids, under the radar stuff, as well as like podcasts and long form content, everything else that's happened on the channel and on Sorare TV over the last year. And I felt that when I was doing those how to make money Sorare videos, like, you probably didn't really enjoy them too much because I basically ran my whole account off of a spreadsheet that was made for me, and then I kind of tweaked it and whatever, and I would give the spreadsheet out to everyone to watch the videos, and I think they helped out a lot of people. But the manager statistics page that we now have on Soraredata really covers almost every detail of your Sorare journey that you would really want, laid out in black and white, really clear to see, so you can track any success, failure, good moves, bad moves, everything you've done. So because I've not done a video like that, this is now available and it's amazing, and I think you might actually really enjoy watching it. I thought this is a great way to kick the week off. Let's open the manager stats up for Quinny 3001 for FC Barcelona. That's the name of my Sorare club. And let's start the week off in a real kind of party mode. As I was reviewing these statistics for myself, there was three things that kept cropping up in my mind, memories and buzzwords from strategies that I've been using all the way through my journey at this point. And it's just a great video to further highlight these and really show you in black and white how they're effective and how they come into play as you're on your Sorare journey itself. I'm in a really fortunate position that I've been playing this longer than everyone, but 1,000 people or so, so I'm in a place with my gallery that if you're starting out today, you won't get to for maybe a year, year and a half, 2 years, maybe even longer. If you've been here for a year, maybe you're not too far behind me. Maybe you've been here for a year and you've overtaken me. But I do feel that because my gallery is one of the oldest around, that I am one of the first to experience some of these different emotions and thought processes, as well as rediscovering the strategies and initiating strategies than maybe some other people are, because these things are all quite time related, and you do go through different, every aspect of the markets went through peaks and troughs over the last 2 years, but individually as people playing a game, you go through different peaks and troughs of interest, excitement, engagement, actual enjoyment, and it's riding through all of that as well. If you haven't even opened your Sorare account yet, there's a link in the description of this video that'll actually get you a free limited card. You can keep it, you can sell it, you can do anything you want with it. By clicking that link, you'll support everything that happens here on the channel, and I thank you in advance if you do so. The DM I hate receiving the most is Quinny. I signed up to play Sorare. I don't think I hit your link. I've not got a free card. I've bought 5. What do I do? By that point, it's too late, So what I say to everyone, the best advice at this point, if you've not started yet, click the link, sign up directly, email address, password, just do it all straight away. Go into settings and then check, you'll see Quinny affiliate as your referrer, and then that's locked in there for whenever you get back round to it. If you're looking for a more in-depth, like basic beginner explainer, that'll be linked in the top corner of the video now. You can go and check that out if you're looking how to actually open the account. How does the scoring matrix work? How do cards work? All the basic stuff, that's there. This is about the professional stuff. At any point in the video today, if you laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and let's get stuck into it. Now, I'm not going to waste any time, guys, spoon feeding you this stuff, right? We'll have a look at the key statistics, right? I'll give you my analysis of them, and as we're going through it, like I said, I've got 3 kind of pro tips. No matter what your strategy is, no matter what your budget is, no matter what your outlook is, will actually help you through the peaks and the troughs of everything we're talking about in the intro. Now, when you go to soraredata.com, you'll hit on you need to link it to your Sorare account if you've not done that already. And then you go into My Gallery. That brings you up to a page that'll look like this. And then you go to Manager Stats. Now, when you go to the Manager Stats tab, you can break it into all the different sports that you can do overall. Now, I'm just going to get this out the way first of all, right? Because I feel that on my channel, I'm trying to be you guys, right? I'm trying to be the man on the street who's playing this game. I've started with very little. At this point, my gallery's very big, of course, but that's the position I'm always in. I've not come into this game with buckets of money or anything. Basketball, I made the absolute rookiest of all rookie mistakes. I went in on day 1 purchases and I went quite heavy. So we'll have a little giggle in the pound notes for my basketball numbers, okay? Because they are pretty minging, okay? So I own 30 cards, only 4 of them are rewards. There's only like 7 match days went, so I'm actually quite happy with my ratio there. No gaming yield as of yet. Total purchases, just about 2.5 grand or so. ETH was up on where it's at the moment, as was the market. So my gallery valuation at the moment is actually less than a bag of sand. It's £958 at point of recording, which is a sore one. In terms of the advanced statistics, again, there's not much going on here. You can go through, if you're wondering, and again, some of these statistics, I'll explain the absolute definition of them when we're going through them. If I don't touch on one that you're interested in or you don't understand, all these little question mark icons explain what they are, and there's a demo video on this page here where Andy Laird at soraredata takes you through a nice, concise kind of walkthrough of all the statistics that are available. I don't have anything in baseball. I think I've got two cards, and like, yeah, they're up. I bought them for 20 quid, they're worth 30 quid. Go me. But with basketball, even though I've made a lot of these day one rookie mistakes, I'm quite pleased with the actual, what's the word I'm looking for? The actual stock that I've got in my club. If I remove all the commons and stuff, I see I've got about 30 cards there. I've got a few one-offs, which I'm quite chuffed with. I've got a jersey number or so. I am starting to pick up rewards like you've seen. And I've got a nice amount of rookies as well. And I think, you know, for year one edition cards, you know, I've definitely overpaid, I think. But over time, I don't think that will be as brutal as it is right now. That being said, it's probably the best. It's much better than when I started playing basketball anyway. The cards are very, very cheap at the moment. I'm not a basketball fan. I've only watched like 2 or 3 games in my life, and I think 2 of them have been in the last month. So, you know, it's a kind of easy pick up and play game because of the way it works. And if you are interested in it, I say it's never really been cheaper. Once you've got a Sorare account, you can jump between all the sports. You don't need to make different accounts or anything like that. So you can really pick it up and drop it at your leisure. But on this channel, I really want the basketball stuff to be like Road to Glory-esque, you know, so I'm really starting behind the 8 ball here. I've overspent, I've overpaid, and I've made mistakes. I didn't know who I was buying. I didn't really know, you know, basketball or good players or anything like that. But, you know, the strategy's kind of working from the advice I've taken and the profiles, and because I know Sorare, I think that's why I managed to win some rewards already, and it looks like we're going to continue on that vein. But football's the main stuff we want to be here talking about. Okay, I've been playing football for close to 2.5 years at this point, and all these statistics hopefully blow you away. Now, we'll start with the key statistics first of all, okay? At the moment, I own 290 cards, which is one of the highest volumes of cards I've ever been holding. The limiteds have really went up over the last month or two because I've just been able to get nicer cards at really cheaper prices, and I don't mind picking them up when they become available. Total gaming yield, okay, so this is the amount of money Sorare has paid me out from winning tournaments, okay? The majority of these, as you'll see, 130, what that means is I've received 135 payments for hitting a basic score. Most of you will know that already. And then I've hit 4 podiums. There's actually a breakdown of this, how many of the podiums I've paid out and whatever, but just under 5.5 grand over the last 2.5 years. And that aspect of the game is available at the kind of hobbyist level, you know, where people, you do need to spend good money on cards to get in amongst it, but there's something there for that gameplay itself. Total purchases, now this isn't net deposits, this isn't how much money's come out of my pocket and went into the game or whatever. This is turnover basically. So if I buy a card for 1,000 and then I sell it for 1,200 and then I buy another one for 1,200, this would say my total purchases is 2,200. And then total sales is the same. It's just everything I've sold out, you know. So gallery valuation at the moment is just around £60,000, around 44 Ethereum. Now, I don't know how well displayed that is in some of these graphs in actual fact, but over my whole time on Sorare, excluding 1 or 2 kind of rises and really outlier events, my gallery value has been really consistent around 45 to 58 ETH around there. And that might sound like a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a good thing. It depends on your angle, and we'll get into that as we get into the more advanced numbers down here. Now, the advanced statistics is where it gets fun. I'm not going to go through all the boring, broken down parts of what we've just looked at. I'm going to look at the exciting stuff, the stuff you're here watching this video to see, okay? So in terms of realized card profit and loss, I've got that out at just under, well, it's about 7.5 Ethereum, and at the point in time in which blah, 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 whatever, comes in at £43,500 in terms of realized, that means realized, you know, it's real profit of £43,770 across the time, and that's on trading transactions in terms of buying low, selling high, as well as, you know, winning and all that other kind of stuff, okay? And then these are the 2 big sexy numbers, okay? So total card profit and loss, so that includes what we just looked at there, which is realized, and then the current gallery valuation, and it amalgamates them together. So if you're just starting out, the first number you looked at, mine is a nice nice big green number. Yours might be a little red one, maybe a big red one, maybe a wee green one. But that's the number that really you want to be tracking the closest. That is what you are exposed to the game on, okay? This here, again, I say, is an amalgamation of that. So some people will rely on the fact that they've got a lot of their excitement, a lot of their value, a lot of their utility still in their gallery, whereas I've managed to, over the last 2 years, kind of master that kind of spinning plates aspect of keeping the gallery flourishing and moving, as well as realizing good moves as they happen and benefiting in kind from that. Now, multiple on card investment, this is a very important statistic, okay? At the moment, mine's is at 1.84, okay? So what that basically means is from your starting point to where you're at the now, how many multiples have you went up, basically, okay? So we see this number go really high, really quickly on soraredata when we look at the charts, in line with massive ETH movements. So that maybe helps paint you the picture of this is a nice statistic to look at for when all the conditions in the market are stable. But when you've got a lot of things running around, this thing will be very volatile. And it's why, even though it's a nice big green number, maybe you don't want to pay too much attention to that versus the total card profit and loss, as well as the realized card profit and loss as well. And then down here we get into the charts. Okay, now you can strike these off and add these on, and I had a lot of fun doing this, and this is when I started to realize how valuable some of these really basic strategies I've been running. And the first one is lifting your floor on failure. Okay, so this is the total trading exposure chart that I've had. Okay, so this is, you know, the higher this goes up, the less I'm exposed, and if it goes down, the more I'm exposed. And that's money coming out of my pocket. Exposure is what we're talking about there, okay? So over the whole time I've been on Sorare, that, you know, for the longest part of your beginning phase, it will go below the zero line, because like I mentioned earlier, as you spend money on cards, your realized profit will be negative. And then over time, what should be happening is you're collecting rewards and, you know, maybe trading opportunities are realizing. So a backup keeper becomes number one, or a guy you had a hunch on starts to hit form. Could be a number of different things. But then what should happen at some point is that your trading and exposure kind of levels out. It stops because you're stopped buying cards. You've got a set gallery or whatever. And then you're waiting for things to mature, things to realize. Okay. Now, throughout this time, like I said, number one is raising the floor on failure. Okay. So as I've went through, where are the dates? The dates are important on this. Now, when you marry that chart on against your gallery valuation, in particular, my gallery valuation, what you notice here primarily is between the periods, let's start back here. Yeah, so from this period here, which is the 29th of May, which is just after a real big ETH run and a real big platform boom and whatever. After this point, the dust has kind of settled a little bit in terms of some of the volatility we had. It was back in the March and April of this year. As you can see on the blue chart, in March, April, is the first big spoke up here. So once we get into the May time, things have kind of teetered around a little bit. And then what I've went through is a period of increasing, these charts get a wee bit annoying for the screen, is increasing my exposure. So the line goes down. Now, as I'm increasing my exposure, my gallery value is going up because I'm accruing assets, I'm accruing stock, okay? So my exposure goes down, i.e. kind of up, just the way the chart's displayed, and the gallery value is going up. Now, as you'll see here, there's a sharp movement where my trading exposure goes from beneath zero to above zero for the very first time. And right in line with that, we see a sharp decline in the gallery valuation. If we scroll down, one of the things I love about soraredata is if you scroll down, all these charts all kind of line up a little bit. So I can go down to this one here that I've filtered by scarcity from rare and super rare. So in that time, I actually I went from 126 rares and 40 super rares. As my gallery value is increasing, the market is bubbling on these. And what happens here is I cash in on one big card, and then I go and I replace that with one or two other cards that could take its place. And I've realized an amazing profit right at the top of the market. That then, at that point, one thing has came good out of the however many hundreds of cards I've had at that point. One's came off in a really big way, and it's really changed my trading exposure. From that point onwards, that point we're looking at is the 27th of November last year. So basically a year ago. From this point on to now, I've been in this studio, I've been playing Sorare professionally, I've been, you know, realizing profit, as you've seen demonstrated. Also, throughout this time, we have seen Ethereum more than half in value in this time, okay? So the actual currency we're playing with has went down and down and down all that time. As well as that, we've seen lots of different dips in prices across different card categories, scarcities, profiles, just depending on the different movements in the market between off seasons and injury and form and that kind of stuff. There's just been a much more of a parting of the sea of good cards and bad cards over this year, where bad cards really will be worth very little very quickly, and good cards can be worth very much very quickly. That has been a real black and white paradigm shift that's happened over this year on a kind of gradual basis. And throughout this year, as you'll see, my card count is at 256, and it really maintains that number. Maybe it drops down a wee bit to 230s and 240s, 250s, up and down, as I'm kind of realizing profit and flipping players around and whatever. But that whole time, as I'm shifting players in and out of my club, maybe I'm moving into different scarcities as well towards the end tiers. The limiteds definitely pick up a bit in terms of how many cards I've got and the value of them. I'm raising my floor on failure at all times. And throughout this period here, this is the second top tip I've got, and that is back yourself, okay? Because throughout this period here, as I'm looking at November last year, you know, look at the peaks and the troughs that the galleries went through from that point onwards. Like we say, when ETH more than halves in price, gallery values are up and down, player values are getting split and all the rest of it. On a lot of different vectors and a lot of different statistics, standing still from this point then over to here should be a real downward slope, quite similar to what we've seen with that Ethereum movement as well, depending on some of the individual cards. But the cards that I've had that I have been not sure about, you know, the ones I've had in my gallery, and I'm like, well, maybe I shouldn't have that guy, or guys I don't have, and I'm thinking to myself, that guy probably would make, you know, a real enhancement to my club. Back yourself. You know, your hunch, your gut is normally the best thing for you. You know, like, you can watch videos with myself and many other great content creators about strategies, tips and guides and all that stuff, but your gut is the one that will tell you if you're probably doing something wrong, or you're probably making a mistake, or you're probably doing something stupid. Equally as well, as I get that feeling all the time when I'm playing Sorare, if I know this move will pay off, or I understand that this market dynamic will come to fore for this backup goalkeeper, this guy returning from injury or whatever. And when you get those, yeah, I have to action that feeling, back it, because the market will always do its thing. Now, what the market is the collective of everyone's opinions and ideas and market activity. And if you want to be in line with the market, then yeah, do everything and kind of keep in line with everything you're hearing and feeling and whatever from other people around there, and just kind of plot your way through the tides as best you can. But if you want to have different results from what's going on around you, you need to try and look at things a bit differently and try and action things a little bit differently. When it comes to backing yourself, there's probably 2 or 3 examples that really spring to my mind. The first one is, I've actually done this quite recently. I was trading guys that were rares in for, so I don't mind trading, and on the basis of it, the other person looks like on Sorare data they're going to be winning. Now, that's not because I try and move inflated priced cards or anything like that, or I'm necessarily always looking for things that are super undervalued, but the monetary value on some of these transactions isn't actually what you're after. The end result might be that you've got a better goalkeeper. The end result might be you've got a talismanic forward that can bang 100 points. And the consequences and the repercussions of having some of these items in the team, it's not about the Sorare data gallery value of them. It's not that, oh, his trading average is X amount of pounds now or whatever. For some cards that will be the case, but not all the time. And sometimes when you're backing yourself, you might look at a deal and go, this guy is definitely winning on money, on paper or whatever. But if you know by action in that trade, you are releasing something in terms of a card that you don't really use, don't maximize, don't need or want or whatever, and you're going to get something that is the actual opposite of that. You really want it, you can utilize it. It does actually complement other things that are going on in your gallery, and it can enhance your results. Back yourself. The third way I would kind of say this is McBride Ace, huge friend of the channel, has got the biggest balls of steel on Sorare in my opinion. And when he falls in love with a player, he buys multiples. He buys 2 or 3, 4 of them. When he's watching football and he sees somebody and he really identifies that guy's a top player, looks at the market prices and sees, in his opinion, this is undervalued, he goes and he'll get 3 or 4 copies of them. I don't do that. I'm too scared sometimes. As you can see with my trading card exposure, I like that to be relatively stable. I don't like big jumping up and downs on it, you know. But it's definitely something that if you do have the risk appetite for it, as well as the hunch, then I recommend you explore it. And that brings me on to my final kind of top tip pro point, if you like, guys, is stick to your own game. Stay in your own kind of lane and dimension. Sometimes when I look at other galleries at top leaderboards and getting podiums and all that kind of stuff, I look at them and think, man, could I be doing better? Could I have done this better? Could I have done this differently? And I've made mistakes before of maybe trying to overextend and maybe try and move up levels at the wrong time, or maybe try and get teams into things. Basketball is a good example, and just kind of rushed into things And as soon as you do them, you know, this isn't in line with the strategy I laid out, or this isn't in line with the tactics that I should be taking at this stage of my gallery or at my club's development. And when you feel that, the writing's on the wall, you're probably about to make a bad move. And you're probably about to undo a lot of the really good work that you've done. None of the strategies that I run, and particularly on my gallery or on my channel, are terribly sophisticated and revolutionary. But the majority of them, the main thing that they've benefited me with is execution and follow through, because all these charts that we've looked at today, they all go up and down, they all swings and roundabouts and all that kind of stuff, peaks and troughs and whatever. And strategies, tactics, and ultimately the end result, whatever that is, when you're looking at your gallery once a year, once a month, when you open your whatever, is it's easy to get wrapped up in the ups and downs. And oh, this player's went down and this player's went up, and oh, I should have bought him yesterday, and oh, I better buy him before tomorrow. And when all that kind of noise comes into things, it makes it really hard to make proper, smart decisions for yourself, you know. Sorare's for people that either have recreational time for sport, football in particular in this case, or recreational money for sport, and in this case in particular, football. And if you're using recreational time and or money into something, there's nothing worse than feeling that it's been wasted or could have been better spent elsewhere or anything like that. And that's the worst feeling, I think, with playing any game. And I've had that, you know, I remember one season I spent £1,000 on FIFA Ultimate Team coins. And it was great fun for about half an hour. And then I looked at my bank balance afterwards and I thought, what the fuck have I just done? You know, so my strategy was never to spend £1,000 on FIFA coins and then play FIFA for a year, then not have that money come back to me or anything like that. And that's why I always regretted those purchases. So some people do that, and that's what they want to spend their recreational money on. Equally, there's lots of other kind of recreational sporting activities that people can spend time and money on, and they get pleasure, they get enjoyment for it, or maybe they get some sort of financial gain, whether it be signed trading cards, signed shirts, or, you know, match-worn memorabilia, signed match day balls, something you got from a charity auction that you spent money on. But again, in all these cases, like, you don't want to ever get that feeling that if you've made a mistake, you're doing things wrong, or you're wasting your time or your money. And that's why having some of these key principles, for me, it is just all about that end product. It's about thinking about what is the end result, where is the gallery going, where's my club going, where do I see myself going? Am I going to be a really fierce, limited competitor? Am I a casual player just going to log in once or twice a week? Or am I logging in every day? I'm trying to get rares, I'm trying to hustle the market, I'm trying to get super rares and play underdog and maximize the prize pools over here. And I want to be a really busy and competitive player that's going to spend a lot more time and probably a bit more money as well. And we're at a point now, guys, where, again, I get DMs, messages, communications with people all the time, like, oh, I wish I found Sorare when you did, and oh, I wish I found Sorare 6 months ago, and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, that would have been great, of course, but really, in my opinion, we're kind of at a watershed moment. I think in 3 or 4 months' time, everyone's going to be saying that again, you know, like, oh, if only I found this before Christmas, or if only I found this in the last summer, or whatever, because the market has been quite stale, has been quite quiet on a lot of fronts for a long time. Ethereum's not been this cheap for the most time I've been on the platform as well. So there's so many converging influences that, for me, at the moment, if you're brand new, or if you've been here for 3, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, this is the time to get your house in order. This is the time to really say, right, what strategies have I been trying? This one did work, and then I dropped it, and I forgot about it, or I really wanted to do that, but then I never. This is the time now. Get your house in order, get your strategies laid out, get your points laid out, have a look at these graphs on soraredata, take stock of where you're at, and then take a big deep breath, move back from it. How well am I doing? How much fun am I having? And then to change those things, to make them better, what do I need to do? Do I need more cards? Do I need less cards? Do I need to win more? Whatever it might be. Let me know in the comment section down below where you're at with your club, what you're thinking moving into this kind of pivotal period in the Sorare adventure that we're on at the moment. At any point in the video today, if you did laugh, you learned, like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe, share, retweet, all that good stuff, guys. Stay out of trouble, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.